All righty, team. Welcome to the Standard Podcast, where we raise the bar, rebuild the culture, and call out the lies or misconceptions nobody else will. This isn't motivation. This is a movement. I'm Thomas Rowe, joined today by my host, Aaron Charles, and today we're sitting down with Jay Jackson, the founder of the Smile Zone. Jay, I'm going to get you to describe what that is when we get to you. And one of the most globally experienced pitchers in professional baseball with a 17-year career across Major League Baseball, Japan's MVP, Mexico, and international winter leagues. Known for his resilience in leadership and signature positivity, Jay now coaches athletes in mindset, identity, and intentional living. He is the author of 9 Innings to Living Your Best Life, Achieve Success When You Smile, and serves as the pitching coach for the West Virginia Black Bears. Through his growing mentorship platform, Jay helps athletes develop confidence, character, and purpose beyond performance, creating the complete blueprint for a fulfilled life in and out of sports. We're diving into the truth behind what it really takes to build identity, discipline, and legacy in sports and in life. Let's get into it. Jay, thanks so much for joining us. Let's start here.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to for sure be here again, having the conversations we've had before. Looking forward to everything I can bring and, just advise in any way, shape, or form, consult, be of service, and be just a beacon of light, hopefully, to anybody that's listening.
Right on. So I didn't want to steal your thunder. I know the SMILE is an acronym. Why don't you tell the audience what SMILE stands for?
Yeah, so SMILE stands for Start Making Intentional Life Efforts. It's just a little acronym I came up with when I was writing my book, just kind of something that just kind of beams like what makes life happen. It doesn't just happen on incidents and coincidence. A lot of times the coincidences are because of what you've put into them and kind of the effort you've put into the things that you're asking the universe and, the man above or greater power to kind of bless you with. So when those things happen, you make intentional efforts and life kind of happens the way it's supposed to.
Love it. So you've pitched professionally for 17 years across MLB, Japan, Mexico, and international leagues. And now you're coaching athletes on mindset, identity, and intentional living through the Smile Zone. What does raising the standard mean to you?
It means, being better than the day before in anything you do, but also being better than, for me, it was being better than my competition. Raising the bar was making sure that I was better than my competition. So my teammates saw that. And so the people around me saw that. So they fed off of it. And so our team made sure that we were better than our opponents. And so therefore we were just winning each and every day. And honestly, just, trying to win at life. That's just the motto I kind of live with and try to do everything I can with. It's just being happy means I'm raising the bar of the people around me to be happy as well, because I think it's a snowball effect of like what we can do. It's just a positivity thing. And if you're being positive, then you're raising the bar of the people around you to be better and happy and just be better and better and better, because, the bar just keeps getting raised because people are being happy and doing more successful things.
Right on. What would you say is the biggest misconception you feel the culture of baseball, the baseball industry, has sold athletes about success, identity, and what it means to live a fulfilled life?
I think the biggest misconception is that, it's all about hitting home runs and striking people out. I feel like that's really the biggest thing that everybody's getting the misconception of right now and taking for granted the game of baseball and how, it's almost like a symbolism of life. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be, outs. There's going to be hits. There's going to be ways that you have to score runs. Everything's not necessarily just so, automatic, such as a strikeout or a home run, especially a home run. It takes time. Sometimes strikeouts take time. They're not just 3 pitches. So I feel like, we've sold this new notion that with the new way things are with the media, especially, that everything's right now and that it's just, highlights and clips of highlights instead of it being, what's the process to get to those highlights. And so I think that's the misconception now, is that it doesn't take time when everything takes time, especially good things. Great things and good things really take the most time that, you could possibly ask for.
Right. In your book, 9 Innings to Living Your Best Life, Achieve Success When You Smile, How did that misconception play out in your life or in your career?
I'd say, as I grow up, as I grown up, it's just as I became my own person, I started playing better. Honestly, I asked the man upstairs, what was my life going to be like? Was it supposed to be baseball? If it wasn't supposed to be baseball, show me a sign. And that if it was baseball, then I was just going to enjoy it and put everything I could into it. And so I think once I did that and I started becoming myself and not worrying about kind of everything else going around me, the people around me, guys getting called up before me for some reason, the politics of baseball, the politics of, they have to call this guy up or trading for this guy before me, or I might just be a fill-in for somebody else. And I could just be myself and enjoy the ride that my life was going on, enjoying the craft that I was doing. I think my career took off a lot and I got to enjoy it a lot more because I was enjoying where I was at instead of worrying about all the other things that were going on.
Yeah, what is that expression when you take care of yourself? Wait, you're taking care of yourself as a full-time job, right? It's just once you focus on that. Jay, we're going to turn it over to segment 2 to Aaron, which is identity and legacy. Aaron, take it away.
Great. Thanks, Thomas. So I wanted to ask you, who is Jay Jackson? Beyond all the baseball, beyond your 17-year career, who are you and how does character, integrity, and discipline show up in your life?
I always tell myself I'm just me. Like, I can't be anybody else. Like, I'm Jay, and that person is number one right now. I'm a dad, and that's like the best thing I can say that I am. I'm a father. I try to be the person to my son and to the people around me that I can be. And right now that's a dad, and try to just be an inspiration and a role model to the ones that want to look at me as that. I try to live my life as happy and positive as I can, take all the good with the bad, but also make sure that I'm trying to turn the bad into good as much as possible as well. Because I feel like if I live in negativity, then the people around me will feel that and it becomes more of a negative cycle instead of trying to be as positive as possible and happy as possible. Because if I do that, then that turns into more positivity and, happy people around me as well. And I feel like if we're doing that, then we're giving the world the best we can of ourselves instead of trying to tear it down. And I guess for me, that's who I am, but also it comes into discipline with just, living each day with my kids and trying to be the best person I can. We're going to the gym, working out still, trying to instill in them, working with, guys and people like yourselves that think of the same mindset and collaborations and going to Taiwan and teaching baseball and just trying to be of service wherever I can. I think that's where, the mindset and mentorship and discipline come in every day.
I love that. I love the SMILE acronym, but I totally agree. Positivity breeds positivity. Negativity just breeds more of that. You're now helping athletes develop confidence, character, and purpose beyond performance. What does legacy beyond the mound mean to you?
Legacy beyond the mound is, you only play baseball for so long. You only play your sport necessarily for so long. So I think the legacy beyond that is how do you touch the people around you during those moments when you have the platform to, but also when you're not on that platform, the people around you, the people around the community that you can touch, the people that you can help. Again, for me, it was just trying to be as positive as I can, not only on the field because people saw that all the time and I got known for my smile, but also off the field, trying to be there for my friends and my family whenever I can, because those are the people that I interact with the most. And then people around towns that I was ever in, just trying to make sure I showed, them that I was the same person on the field as I am off the field, which is trying to be positive and help them, because you leave your legacy by how you touch people and the emotion that you leave them with, not necessarily how they see you on the field or anything like that, because maybe it generates an emotion, but if you see you in person, that first time or that last time they see you, that emotion that you invoke in them is definitely how you leave a legacy for me. And so I try to make sure I try to leave people better than I found them and also, more positive and happier than I found them as well.
I love that. Everybody that works with you has got to leave feeling energized and uplifted. And I love that. What's one truth you wish every athlete understood about mindset, identity, and building a fulfilled life beyond the game?
That all the failures and the tough times during sports or during your sport doesn't necessarily translate off the field. You have to live and learn those lessons in that moment, but don't carry them necessarily off the field after that. You can still be yourself. Sometimes we have to look at ourselves as entertainers and go through the entertainment phase and maybe do some things on the field that has our role played to the best of our ability out there. That's not necessarily who we might be off the field, but it doesn't have to be you off the field all the time. Make sure that you have your own life that you're proud of and that you're happy with, and that you can make sure there's a positive influence on yourself first, because that's going to resonate for the longevity more than anything else.
That's awesome. I'm going to turn it back over to Thomas. He's going to take you through the stages of advice for all ages.
Right on. Jay, if you could sit down with yourself when you were first starting your professional career, long before your 17-year career, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say my advice to myself would be to trust yourself earlier than later. Don't necessarily, I was saying it to people before, don't necessarily try to play the game, but enjoy it enough that you could be yourself in it. I think I tried to do too much early and tried to be the ultimate version of who I thought, the organizations wanted me to be, instead of just truly embracing who I was. So I just tell myself just to enjoy being myself and enjoy the game of baseball.
Right on. What about when you're in the middle of your career, navigating different countries, different cultures, different leagues, different challenges? What would you tell yourself then, mid-career?
Honestly, the mid-career was probably my favorite time.
Really?
I think that person would be the one giving advice and has helped me get to where I am now. And the lessons I learned then, I think I truly did learn. But I think I enjoyed my time in the middle of my career more than most people probably would. I think that I would tell myself that, you have to make the decision which route you want to go, if you want to enjoy it or if you want to, be in the Hall of Fame type thing. I think that was the decision I would have to tell myself in the middle of my career. It's like, you have a chance to do something really special and probably etch your name in some record books, or do you want to, enjoy not necessarily the fame and the glitz and glamour, but do you want to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor that you've come to this far to make? And just, I think I would have had to have that sit down with myself in the middle of the career instead of just enjoying it as it played out.
Sure. And now, as someone coaching the next generation through the Smile Zone, and as pitching coach for the West Virginia Black Bears, what's the one thing you're trying to make sure young athletes understand? Before you answer that, I'll share with you, we had a podcast with a Super Bowl winning football player, and he said to us, he goes, when I was in high school, it was a game, now it's a job. And I was like, wow, that's profound. When it's a game, it's almost like it's fun, but when it's a job, it still could be fun, but there's a different pressure, right?
100%. It definitely becomes a different pressure when it definitely becomes a job, and you're feeding families, and families are relying on not only your family but other people's families are relying on them to do the same thing. So it definitely becomes a job. And I tell these kids now, and I tell all the guys that go through the program, that start to go through the program, that you have to enjoy it regardless if it's a job or not, because this is something that not a lot of people get to do. But you have to make sure that, this is something that you truly enjoy doing, because there's going to be a lot of ups and downs. But this is, normally if you're playing baseball, you asked whoever, or this was a dream job, dream come true. And you have to take the good with the bad with the dreams, even if it becomes a job.
Sure. I'm going to turn it over to Aaron, which is segment 4, which is the rapid fire round. Aaron, go for it.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask you, I'm going to have a statement, and I'm just going to have you finish my sentence. So we will start off with discipline
equals better habits.
Leadership equals
followers who trust you.
faith
Faith
Yeah.
equals greatness. Honestly, I feel like that's it.
I love it. Legacy equals.
Legacy equals positive experiences on every.
I love it. And what's one thing that you would never compromise on?
Now it would have to be being happy.
Oh, I love
Again,
that.
and I think for most people, they take that in a wrong way because they're like, oh, I think happiness for me is peace. So ultimately, happiness is peace. So peace and happiness go one for that. So happy.
And if you could put a billboard up to the next generation of athletes or just the next generation, what's the one message that would be on that billboard?
It will be smile. Start making intentional life efforts for sure. That would be the one thing, just because it has so many meanings. It means like it takes so much more to smile than to frown one. And so for me, if you see that, it makes you normally think of like, okay, why should I smile? And you come up with a reason. So normally if you see the word smile, you normally smile. But then when you see the why, you should smile and what it means too, I feel like that billboard would touch a lot of people in a lot of different ways.
I love that. Yes, we all need to smile more. Life is good. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Thomas.
Hey, Jay, before we wrap up, is there something we didn't touch on today that you feel that athletes need to hear about mindset, identity, or living intentionally?
I think that all the athletes out there now need to understand, especially not only in baseball, but in all the sports that we're playing right now, is look back on the why these sports were started and realize that it's not just all showcases now, that, there's more to these than just highlights, and making sure that people are noticing, the extravagant stuff that's going on. I think that the mindset needs to be to make sure you know the fundamentals and foundations of why you're doing these things first, and then you can build off of those. I mean, Kobe Bryant was the master of it. Michael Jordan was the master of it. The greatest players are always the ones that know the foundation and the fundamentals first, and then expand from there.
Sure.
So I just like to tell all these kids for sure that master that, because at the end of the day, when things fall through, the one thing that you can count on is your foundation. That's built with your constant discipline and your mindset at all times.
No doubt. No doubt. Okay, final two questions. Your top three sports movies of all times. All time.
Top three sports movies of all time. Top three. Oh, I'm going to say For the Love of the Game, for sure. I want to say Angels in the Outfield too, just because Griffey was in that one. And I got to throw in 42.
I love it. I love it. Jay, before we close out here, one of my favorite baseball movies of all time is Field of Dreams. If you could put your Field of Dreams together, you don't have to go through all the positions. Who are a handful of guys you'd want on that diamond with you?
Ooh. Okay. So Griffey's definitely in there for sure. King Griffey Jr. is in there.
Okay.
Barry Bonds is in there. Old school guy that nobody's ever heard of, that's one of my favorite players that I did a report on when I was in high school. Josh Gibson's going to be in there. Let's see. I got to throw Shohei in there just because I faced him. I love the guy. He's such a great guy that anybody would be glad to have him on there. Pedro Martinez is definitely going to be in the rotation. Roger Clemens is going to be in the rotation. Greg Maddux, just to have somebody that throws a lot of strikes, gets a lot of wins, and also has a lot of tricks and jokes, and the jokester of the team's going to be in there. I'd say I'm stuck between Pudge and Yachty behind the plate. I'm going to have to go with Pudge, though. I want to say Ozzie Smith's going to be a shortstop for me.
There you go. I love it.
Let's see. Who else? I think I want to say Roberto Alomar is going to have to be at second base.
Okay. And for center field?
It was Griffey for center, Barry Bonds for left. I want to say I'd like to say Frank Thomas for first base, though. Frank Thomas would be first base. I need a couple relievers. You know who I love as a reliever, who I always talk about, is Blake Trinan. I would say Blake Trinan would be in there. Satchel Paige is in there for sure, and Bob Gibson.
I'll take it. Awesome, Jay. Hey, team.
Yeah.
As a long diehard San Diego Padres fan, Jay forgot to say Tony Gwynn, so I'm going to give big props.
I have to put Tony in there in the outfield too. I knew I was missing the right fielder. I can put Barry Bonds in right and put Tony in left, and there you go.
I'll take it. That is awesome. Hey, Jay, where can people find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you, whether it be on LinkedIn or any social media handles or an email if you feel comfortable giving that away?
For sure. So I'm on LinkedIn at Jay Jackson. I'm also on Instagram, X, Twitter, whatever it was called back in the day, at Jaxland, JAXLAND 5858. So anywhere you can catch me on there. I'm always doing stuff on there, posting, having fun on there. We're actually about to start the website. The social media handles for the Smile Zone is going to be coming soon because the app in the program will be starting in January. So we're looking forward to having a bunch of kids sign up and be able to teach the next generation everything that we can. But to find more information about that, the Smile Zone website and app and everything else will be coming soon at www.the-smile-zone.com as well. So be on the lookout for that, and just follow me on Instagram and X. Everything else will be, following through there.
That is awesome. Jay, you're an absolute rock star. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your truth. Team, if this conversation challenged you, inspired you, or made you think differently, do two things for us. One, share this episode with someone who needs to hear it, an athlete searching for identity, a coach helping players navigate their mindset, a parent supporting their kid through the ups and downs of baseball and all sports. Number two, connect with Jay on Instagram. Again, Instagram and X at JaxLand58, JaxLand58, and check out the Smile Zone. If you're ready to develop your confidence, character, and purpose beyond performance, Jay is building something real. And if you're an athlete, parent, or coach ready to raise the standard, check us out at blueprintbluechip.com. We help athletes build identity, discipline, and legacy that goes far beyond the game or field. And if you're ready to get clear on who you are beyond the game, join us in our 3-day reset win play show. It's designed for athletes who are ready to rebuild their foundation. You can find that at blueprintbluechip.com. And if this episode resonates with you, take 30 seconds and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps us reach more athletes, parents, and leaders who need this message. This is a standard podcast, and this movement only grows when you raise the standard together. Talent fades, but truth endures. Let's raise the bar, rebuild the culture, become the standard. We'll see you next time. Jay, Aaron, you guys rock. Thanks so much for joining us.